but I've always wanted to do like a podcast that is the everyday runner, and start with like the local New Hampshire running crew. And like, it's really, really cool. So what you guys are doing is awesome.
1, 2, 3, 4.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 62 of the On the Runs podcast. It is very late on Monday night, and I am coming to you to tell you that Erica and I kind of messed up the intro and outro audio, trying to figure out what happened, but it's too late to fix it now. So we still want to drop this episode for you. We have an awesome interview with a wonderful person named Karen Jordan, but we just call her KJ. So apologies for us not having the typical intro and outro. We talked about so much cool stuff. We felt like we haven't seen each other in a while, but we'll catch up next week. So this will just be Karen's episode. It is hers and hers alone and only. So Karen, you get your own episode. That's pretty cool. Or KJ, you get your own episode. The good news is we had an interview today with somebody else, and their audio came out just great. Ours still a little messed up, but I got a couple weeks to figure out and maybe fix it or figure out how I'm going to do it, which is going to really test me. So a couple things. Check out our YouTube channel. It kind of had a soft opening, and we're going to have an OTR Live, officially our first live streaming on YouTube this Thursday with Beth from last week. One other thing is this Saturday, we are going to be at the Goffstown Gallop. So don't forget about the Gallop. We're going to be there 8:30. Shauna just signed up. Mr. 305 is going to be there. Lindsay's going to be there. Nicole. There's going to be some cool people there. So again, I'm sorry about the Tros, as Eric and I like to call them, but it's late and I don't want you guys to miss out on this awesome interview with KJ. So enjoy KJ on the runs. And as Erica would say,
don't forget to stretch.
Our next guest on the pod is a fellow runner from our home state here in New Hampshire. Many of you from the area probably have seen her around running the streets and the trails and everywhere else and on all the races. She ran competitively in college, and besides being a dedicated runner and a running coach, she's an elite napper, according to her Instagram account. We're super pumped to have her on the pod. Karen Jordan, or as we know, we'll call you KJ.
Thank you.
Welcome to the On the Runs podcast, KJ.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
It's our pleasure. I can already tell we're going to get along super well with just you say you're an elite napper, and I'm like, yeah.
You know what? I try to stay humble as best you can with everything, but I will not with napping. I am up there. I am the Shalane Flanagan of napping. It is.
I'm very
proud. It's a passion.
I have kids, and I tell everyone my advice. I have a few little things of advice, and one is you can clean the house later, but when they're sleeping, go take a nap.
Mm-hmm. So I have a cat, and I feel like that applies. If he sleeps 18 hours a day, I should probably take advantage of it.
Yes, that would explain why you're an elite napper. Absolutely. An elite napper, an elite runner. So is it one cat?
Just one. That's all I need.
Okay. If it's anything like Erica's cat, that your cat might come up on you during the interview and get in your face and get in front of the screen.
I will love the cameo.
Oh, he's a great cat. He's very vocal. So at some point you will hear him yelling. He's not being abused. He's fed. He likes people to know he runs the household. So
trust me, I know exactly what you go through. My cat's just like, why are you ignoring me right now? I'm just going to yell at you until you pay attention.
Oh, wait, and I'm in his spot right now, so that should go over well.
So we're in for it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Can't wait for the cat cameo. We'll make it into a On the Runs reel, but
I'm so excited.
Let's get started. I said you're from New Hampshire, but did you grow up in New Hampshire?
I did. I'm from a little town outside of Lebanon, New Hampshire, Enfield. It's like population 3.
Oh my God.
Isn't KUA in Enfield?
Yep. Kimberly Union's up there.
No, I go up there.
It's right outside of Dartmouth. And I have been in Keene since I came to college, and with a brief stint of living in Florida for a couple of years, I've been here. Keene is awesome.
So we're Plymouth Staters.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if we're like a rivalry.
I was wondering about
Keene
that.
State rivalry, big time, yeah.
Does you ran in college,
I did. Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Did Plymouth State have a running team? I don't think we did.
I
Well, if we did, I was not a part of
was
it.
gonna say I don't remember ever
might-
having any
Yeah, they might have
competitions or
one
anything
now
there.
because they do have that brand new field house with an indoor track. But yeah, so you grew up in the area, so you're more up in the northwest, and now you're in Keene.
Yeah. Yep. I like it better here. There's it's a little bit more populated
little
than where
more
I'm
to do.
from.
I'm actually going to be headed that way. I'm doing the, what is it, Clarence DeMar coming up in
Yeah.
the
I was hoping Clarence
excited
DeMar would
for
come up. I can't plug that race enough. It is one of the best fall races in the area, for sure.
That's exciting. I haven't done it before.
BQ course. It's awesome. It's beautiful. It's well run. So
I doubt I'll
thumbs
be
up.
going for a BQ, but at least gonna enjoy some nice foliage. Hopefully, around
it's
that
beautiful. It's a beautiful course. So
time. Excellent.
So besides the population being 3 people in infields, that was you, your mother, and a friend or somebody.
my
What did
grandmother, my grandmother, the best lady in the
Oh,
world.
so you, your mother, and your grandmother. What was there to do in infield growing up as a kid?
I honestly, not a whole lot, but I grew up in the 80s and 90s, so we didn't need the constant entertainment that we need now. We went outside and played with sticks. I played
Yes.
basketball till sun up to sundown, at the little local park downtown. And that was it. There's not much going on up there. So
is basketball your other love of
this
sports?
is my first true love. Yes. So running was actually just my punishment. 100%. Running was terrible. You did something wrong, you ran. So,
I feel like a lot of people
Yeah.
started off that way where they're like, oh my God, I cannot, running is just awful for me. And then just somehow it just clicks and turns around.
right.
and-
You also
Right. No,
remember
I would be the
we
same.
were running sprints. I'm not a sprinter. I've got no business with that. So, maybe if we had gone out and been punished by running the mile, we would have been I would have fallen in love with it sooner. But
I remember when I was young, I was involved in basketball camps. And I've said before in the pod, my thoughts on basketball are just that I'm more of a hockey guy. But my uncle was very involved in basketball, and he was a basketball coach in college. And so I would go to these camps, and I would hate the suicide sprints. You go you go about 10 feet and back, 20 feet and back. And I just remember we always did those suicide
That's
sprints.
on the level of burpees.
Now-
I hate those too.
It
It's
exactly
just-
was.
so right.
It exactly was on the level of burpees. In hockey, they call them, what was the coach of the Olympic team? Because we do them in hockey too. I mean, we call them suicides, but they called them Herb Brooks. They called them Herbies.
Herbies.
I
That's
think.
new.
I've never heard that.
Kind of sounds like herpes, so maybe that was wrong.
Herbies fully loaded.
It's up to you to decide which one's worse.
Right. They suck. So, no, you're absolutely right. A lot of us thought of running as a punishment, maybe, in our younger years. And we enjoyed the sports, the stick and ball sports. So that makes a lot of sense. I remember, about 10 years ago, I said I quit running.
Mm-hmm.
And now I run all the time, or try to.
You
So.
need to get back into that. Yes.
Got the best time of year
So-
for it.
So what was the trigger for you to actually get into running?
So when I came to Keene, my freshman year, I didn't do much as far as, it was my first time in all of my my entire life of not being on a team or having that kind of aspect. And I hated it. I played intramural basketball. I played intramural volleyball. We did whatever we could to stay active and do that. And it just wasn't clicking. It wasn't as competitive as you wanted it. And there was no team aspect to it at all. And I had made friends with quite a few of the girls that were on the cross country and track team. So they pulled me right in, got suckered into meeting the coach. And within a day I was on the team. So
Wow.
So you went to college with no plans to be on any kind of running team.
no,
Because when I'm doing my research, I'm like, she ran in college. And I'm like, okay, this is her second college runner to my knowledge. And thinking, okay, she probably ran competitively in high school too. But no, you jumped on a team in college.
I
You
did.
a walk on.
I remember showing up the first practice. The coach told me, he sent me out with this girl, Mary, who is still by far one of the fastest women to ever come out of Keene State. She was a phenomenal runner, did all her workouts with the men's team because the rest of us were just too slow for her to have any kind of push. Sent me out with her. I think I was with her for about the first minute and a half of what was supposed to be a 3-mile run. I turned right back around, went back to the gym, and I was like, I'm not doing this.
Bye.
This is a joke. So it was hard.
Oh yeah.
That's rough.
Hey, you know what? You got to throw people to the wolves sometimes. Do or die.
So was it just cross country, and is it just a fall sport, or did you pick up winter running, spring running?
Um,
Or
you know,
What was your
I'd like
was
to
there an
say I
off
had a
season?
choice, but my coach didn't give you much of a choice. Not in a negative way. He pushed you. You know, he pushed you to do everything. So I did do indoor track and outdoor. Outdoor, I never quite got into the way I did indoor, and especially cross country. That was by far the most fun. And still, like, I don't know, cross country is just like the different animal. But yeah, I did it 3 seasons to try and stay in shape to get back into, you know, fall shape quickly.
So when you were doing cross country, did you like running on the trails? Like, is that your jam, or are you more of a road runner?
When I was in college, I loved it. Anytime we could dip into the trails, we have this awesome like forest, Yale Forest. All of our loops were through there. There was 5 mile, 6 mile, right up to 10 mile loops that we could do up there, and I loved it. And you know, as I got out of college and like now, I'm like almost like I'd say 99% road runner. Going into the trails, I miss it. I love it. It's so much fun, but I'm terrified when I'm in there. I'm so scared of like all things ankle injuries, and like from basketball, my ankles will roll if you look at them funny. So it's scary, but I would really like to get over that fear and at some point kind of put the competitive road stuff aside and just kind of enjoy the trails a little bit more. But
I remember meeting a guy, I think after my first marathon. He was the guy giving me a massage after my first marathon.
Mm-hmm.
This is years ago. And he called Tough Mudders and Spartan races and those type of things ankle breakers.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
So
Yeah.
I do love running on the trails. I don't do it enough. So when I get on there, I really enjoy it.
It's like being a kid again. You're just running through the woods, like careless. You know what I mean? It's so much fun.
I want to love it so much. I mean, it's nice being out in nature like that, but if I am not laser focused on where my feet go, I'm going to find the tiniest little pebble and just go down. Like, it would not be the first time.
And how I've never been able to get through the trails solo because I don't know how people look up to find trail markers when they're constantly staring at their
Oh,
feet.
yeah.
Like you either have to look down,
You,
so you
Erica,
don't
you would
trip.
totally get lost.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Absolutely would. I would be calling for SOS. I need help.
With no cell service in the woods.
Running at Keene, where did that take you? Did you go to some cool places when you go to like other? I'm thinking college cross country meets don't necessarily go to the other school, and you're not necessarily running against Plymouth State. They all probably meet,
Yep.
kind of like Crew would all meet in Boston and Crew
Go
on
on
the
the
Charles
Charles, yeah.
River. Did you get to go to some cool places for your
Yeah, we had
cross country meets?
we had meets every Saturday morning in the fall. And you know, whatever school was hosting, we would go there, and like there'd be like 6, 7, 8 other teams. When we started to get into the end of the year meets, if you qualified for any of the championship runs, they got to go to a little bit bigger. The races got a little bit bigger. They got a little bit longer. And then I was fortunate enough for my final 2 seasons of cross to qualify as an individual to go to the cross country national championships. So one took me to Hanover, Indiana, and the other one was in Minnesota. I just can't remember where. And that was pretty cool. That was a lot of fun. I traveled with the boys team and my coach, and I ran backwards each time I got there, but it was a lot of fun. So
I really, really wish I had gotten into stuff like that in college. Like when I got there, we had our Monday night fun club, and that was like it.
I ran cross country in high school and I loved it. Middle school and high school, I thought it was great, and I'm so happy I did it. I never thought to like even research a cross country team in college.
Right.
I made the varsity, but your top 7 make varsity. I was still in the back of the pack of the varsity races, so I wasn't like an elite runner, and I'm thinking college is elite.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Karen here never ran in her life and just walked on the team. So maybe we could have.
coach in an awesome group to run with. So I was very, very spoiled.
Got natural talent though. That's awesome.
It helps.
Yes.
So you graduate Keene State, and you stayed in Keene, and you kept running.
I did. I took a brief somewhere in my 20s. I moved down to Florida, Orlando, Florida, for a couple of years with a couple of the girls that were on the team. And that was not going to say that was a mistake, just going to say I would never do it again. I was actually trying to get out of bartending and stuff like that and like start my life, right? And I moved to like the hospitality capital. So there's nothing but bartending jobs.
Sure. Yeah.
But I would say like I moved back to Keene and I haven't left since, but I really didn't stay like competitive with running. I was more of like a fitness thing, just try not to gain weight and stay healthy. And I got into like lifting more. I kind of lost a lot of like love for running for a while because I was so used to having such an amazing group of women to run with at all times. Like, I got out of college and then it was like, oh, and I never really opened my eyes and looked around at like what I now know is one of the probably greatest running communities of anywhere. Like I didn't realize other people ran that weren't in college. So I just kind of puttered around here and there. Just never really did any races or anything for a long, long time.
So you came back from Florida and you didn't really want to bartend anymore. So you came back up here. What did you do in between you starting your running coaching?
Well, bartended. That is my like career path, but here we are.
Still today?
Yep. I bartender. I'm like really plugging away at opposite ends of the spectrum, like bartender.
That's okay.
Runner. I worked it for a while in the middle school. Actually, my cross country and track coach at Keene, he got a few of us jobs working within the school system as like tutors. And I did go to school to be a guidance counselor. It's what I got my degree in. And after working in the school system for a few years, kind of realized like it's not the path I want to go. So here we are. So yeah.
Back to running and bartending.
I mean, yeah, it's a huge staple.
You make a lot of good money in bartending. I did it. My wife still does it.
Yep. I mean, it's the one thing that keeps you from changing jobs, I guess.
I always thought, to me, it was a lot more fun hanging out with people, but serving them drinks and having them pay me money than to be the one paying the bartender the money and having way too much to drink and not enjoying myself the next morning.
Yeah. I mean,
so I really enjoyed it. I bartended in college.
I get to hang out with them and I go home hangover free. So it works better for me.
Yeah. And then we go to the gym and we run in the morning and do something. We feel great.
Yep.
I kind of think that is kind of the best of both worlds. You get to have your social life and then you can still wake up early for your long runs on the weekend.
Do you mind telling us where you bartend so we can send everyone there to pay you and drink and give you lots of money?
I bartend at the best bar in Keene. It's 21 Bar and Grill. It's always been known as like a little martini bar. It's everything, but it's a really like good food, really good drinks. I get to work for one of my best friends. She just bought it back in 2020.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really
Congrats.
I've been there for a very long time. So like, it's kind of all the people that come in are family now, they're not bar patrons. They're regulars. They're friends. Like they come to some of my races if they're in town, like they're really good people. So,
So speaking of races, you said you kind of stopped running for a while or lost the drive for competitive running, but what was the first time you got back into competitive running? What was the trigger? What race was it? What got you motivated to do that?
It wasn't like a race specific sort of situation. So we have an awesome shoe store in town. May I plug that as well?
Yeah, plug anything you want. We have no sponsors yet.
Ted's is awesome. He does a lot for me personally. He's a great friend. And they've got all the shoes you could ever need. But I live there because I go through a lot of shoes. And this is probably back in like 2017, 2018, somewhere in there. I became friends with one of the guys that works there, one of the managers, and I started running with him from time to time. And he was just in the start of putting together his own coaching business. So I signed up with him and he just started to change how I looked at running again. And I was ready to be competitive and he whipped me into shape and made me competitive. It helped.
That's so awesome.
Good name for a running store there.
Ted Shoe and Sport.
Yeah, no, I mean, like you walk in, hey, Ted, I love it.
Everybody knows your name.
Yeah, you should. If you get the chance to come to Keene, hop in there and just chat with them all. They're pretty awesome.
If you go, hey, I know Karen, it's no big deal. I know KJ, you're in.
Yep, 100%. Because he calls me KJ, so he knows.
Perfect. We're like better than first name basis, right?
Yeah, we're well beyond that now.
KJ the runner. in Keene. Yeah, population 7, everybody's going to know.
Keene is growing. I think it's
It
growing.
is great. I mean, like I said, compared to where I'm from, this is the big city for me.
Ooh, yeah, you're right.
Definitely. So what? Out of all the New Hampshire colleges, that like literally, there's UNH, Plymouth, and Keene. Like I can barely name other schools
Am I
in the
thinking?
state.
They're the,
I was
SNHU,
gonna say,
what?
they're
Southern
the
New
fun
Hampshire,
schools.
Franklin Pierce.
Franklin Pierce. Yeah, that's actually not very far
Frank-
from here. So
Yeah,
They're still in business.
they are.
Franklin Pierce. I knew a bunch of kids who went there. So your love of running got re-sparked, and like, were you just training to stay in shape, or did you have any races that you wanted to run that you were specifically training for?
Yeah. So my coach at the time, and the guy that I was just talking about, Thomas, I really hired him specifically to help get me in shape for my first half marathon, which was going to be the Clarence DeMar half.
Awesome.
So that was what we first worked for, and then it went okay, enough that I wanted to keep on. So, and at that point, he had a few other people that he was helping. So it was just like I finally found people to run with again. I very rarely had to run alone, and I was like, "This is amazing." So,
Are you part of She Runs This Town?
yeah, yep. Yes.
Excellent. Yes, I think I've seen you in there, but it's nice to know like that all of you nice women are part of the same community, because that's how I've got connected to some of my like best running friends in the area.
It's really nice, but I feel like there's nobody around Keene. I know there's a few people just outside of it in the Peterborough area and stuff like that, but I feel like everybody lives in like Manchester, Seacoast area, and I'm like, it's kind of a haul.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say for me, just over there, it's like an hour and 40 minutes or something. That is like
It's a lot,
trek,
yeah.
but
To go for like
we gotta find you some
a
more
3-mile
running
run. It's like, eh.
True. Understandable.
I want to know, you ran in college, so that's, I think the races are 10Ks, and then you just did a half marathon. At that point, is that the furthest you ever ran?
Yeah, actually, so when we were in college, for the regular season, we raced 5Ks. The women did, and then for the big meets, it was 6K, so like 3.8. I think at the longest I had run in college was a 10-mile run here and there. So, but post college, I think I was maxing out at like 5-6 miles. I hadn't.
So when you signed up for that half marathon, that's like your biggest race ever at that
Oh
point.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I'm sure I am one of every single runner ever. That was it. Half marathons. There was no chance in hell you were getting me to do a marathon. Why would I do that to myself? No, thank you. I still feel that way sometimes.
What's your favorite distance now?
I'm a glutton for punishment. I really do like racing 5Ks. They hurt really badly, but my brain understands that like it's a short run, right? You can give 20 minutes of yourself. But now I really do like half marathons. And I have to say that take that with a grain of salt. I like them about as much as you can. I like the marathon for what you get out of it, if that makes sense. I think the race itself has always been, torturous. But I like having that big goal that's so far out that I have something that gets me out the door every day. And I think that a marathon is the only thing that can really, really drive that kind of like that kind of motivation out of you.
I agree. It's once you're finished, you're just like, man, my body did that. Like I did something awesome today. And it just shows like how much hard work you put into it. And yeah, I totally agree.
And not even just that day. Awesome. And one thing I always say to all my athletes, it's not just the day. Look what you just did for the last 3-4 months. Like, you give a lot of yourself, whether it's like just the physical aspect of it or saying no to all these things that come your way that you want to go and do, but really shouldn't because of training or, being tired, being hungry, being cranky, hurting. Like you really sacrifice a lot to have that one big day. But when you look at it, it's a big package. It's a big celebration all the way through.
Absolutely.
So I don't know what year we're in when you ran that half, but eventually in 2019, you got to run in the Boston Marathon.
I did.
Spoiler alert.
How did that happen? Did you qualify? Did you have to just join a team and raise money? How did you get into Boston?
I was really fortunate for the person that wasn't going to run a marathon at all. I had a friend, Jules, who was training for the Maine Coast Marathon, and she had a training partner who, partway through their training, kind of pulled out for whatever reason, injury. So I just hopped in for some of her long runs, and we got up to like 17, 18 miles. And at that point, I'm still like, no, I'm good. We're good.
I don't need it.
And I got, my coach kind of said, well, you're already here. Why not just do the full? But I did it with let's just run. This is Jules's run. Let's have a good time, like help keep her distracted. And, we had a banner day. We had the best first marathon I think you could possibly have, like all smiles, start to finish. I'm sure I hurt, but I couldn't tell you that after the fact. And I was lucky enough to get the BQ that day. So it was,
That's awesome.
pretty
So
awesome.
that was Maine Coast you ran.
Yeah, in 2018.
Excellent.
It was pretty
You
awesome.
got a BQ in your first marathon.
I was a lucky girl. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, you put in the effort, you put in the training.
did.
Like
We did.
So-
Couldn't have done it without her.
So were you like at the point like never going to do a marathon? No, don't want to do that. But then you're like, okay, I'll do the one, and you qualify for Boston. What's going through your mind? You're like, crap, I got to do all this
Ah,
hard
shit, I
training
gotta run
again.
I remember
Boston.
saying, oh no, we have to do that again in a year, and I was like, oh no. But I don't think it was very long after that first one, because I couldn't stress it enough. That day was so good. And I was like, this is what marathons are. I thought people were supposed to be miserable. Like, this is amazing. Little did I know that it was just kind of like a false alarm kind of situation. So I wasn't too upset that I had to do it again. And I, as all runners really do, Boston Marathon's always been Christmas morning. It's the day I take off from work, whether I go to a race or sit at home on the couch with all my snacks, all my drinks, box of tissues, because I know I'm going to cry.
Watching the
Yeah.
race.
So I get to go and do what I've been watching every year and like dreaming of. So even without wanting to run a marathon, I still wanted to do Boston.
I feel like that's what is it? Like the Mecca, the like super marathon that like runners dream of. So the fact that you got there, that's epic.
was awesome.
And it was impressive on your
Mhm.
first marathon too.
Oh, yeah.
Holy
Thank
cow!
you. It was
So do you want to go into how your training went for Boston?
Yeah. Again, I was still coaching under Thomas. At this point he had he's grown quite a few running clients and stuff. So we had a pretty good group that we'd at least meet every Wednesday for track workouts, which is still happens every week. I just had I trained with him a lot. He's a really fast runner. So running with him helped me, push me a little bit on some of those days. Just trying to keep up with him. Everything was going really good. I just remember I did a 20-mile race in Massachusetts just a few weeks before Boston. And I did it at my goal pace for the marathon. Nailed it. I had a great race. And then it just turned out that was the race. Like after that, I felt burnt out. I remember calling my coach a couple times during trying to do a workout, just crying. So we really tweaked that taper down pretty good. So I went into Boston pretty burnt out.
Oh, was it Black Cat that you ran?
Yes.
Just curious.
Oh,
I've done that one
it's
before.
torturous.
There were some surprise hills in there.
Yes, and the
You
fact
don't
that you have to
expect
run
that,
by the
though.
finish line and do another loop. You're like, this is so
The
rude.
loops, man, soul crushing.
I don't think I could do that again.
So you had to do some crazy tapering. So that was what, like 3 taper weeks, 2, 3?
I did 3 where we were shooting for 2. Yeah, and we dialed it down pretty good. So,
Gotcha.
but I still went in pretty. I would say that when I told the line in Boston, I wasn't mentally there. I was like, this is just gonna survive kind of day.
Well, actually, so we've had a lot of people on the pod who've run the Boston Marathon, and some of them are like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to PR my marathon, and good for them. And we have others who are like, I did the work, I made it, and I'm just going to enjoy this. What was your goal going in? I know you were kind of tapering for 3 weeks, but even before that, what was your Boston Marathon goal, and did it change?
I really kind of set the goal at a PR. I wanted a PR. I wanted a big PR. So my first marathon was about a 3:32 and change. What I was shooting for was a 3:20 at Boston.
Oh, wow.
And it, right up until I felt that burnout, I had that and I knew it. I knew my fitness was there. There wasn't a question about it. My coach, he trained me smart. I ran smart. Getting to the line, like I said, it was just going to be a survival kind of day. So it shifted for sure. But I wanted to have fun too. And that's the one regret I have, is that I ran with my head down a lot because I was feeling so much pain. And, I did the Moby Runner. So if I did Boston again, or if I do Boston again, I know where to pick my head up now. Like, and I tell everybody I know that gets a chance to run it, look up, see, take it all in, because there's so much to see and there's so many things to experience, and that's not your feet.
I think that's great advice. That's
It-
great advice for anybody.
Any
really
race,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, and maybe a future race you got coming up that we'll get to. So then you actually qualify, or do you fundraise for Boston in 2020?
So I was able to squeak in a PR and BQ that day with some walking. So that's how I just say my coach knew to
at
train me
Boston.
very well, because
Mhm.
I was, the fitness was there. I just couldn't execute, but it pulled off what I needed to be able to, what I thought would be get my revenge Boston run. Little did we know the world was about to shut down.
Little did we know it was 2020 and everything went virtual. So tell
Mhm.
me what it's like doing a virtual Boston Marathon.
I can tell you that I wouldn't choose that option again. It was frustrating, as you know, we didn't know until not all that long before Boston was supposed to happen that they canceled it. So I got through quite a few 20-mile runs, and then they postponed it. Okay, little pause. It's going to be in
Mhm.
September. Got through quite a few 20-mile runs. It's canceled.
Wow, they just have you on the hook.
Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. But I mean, again, there was nothing else I had to do, right? So spending all that time running was the only thing there was.
Mhm.
But I was like, well, I've got this fitness, and I might as well take the virtual option because I don't know what else to do with it. And we were so fortunate. Again, just the Keene running community is elite. They had us run the Clarence DeMar course. The race director and Ted and Ted's employees, they set up a race for us. So there was about 6 or 7 of us local runners doing Boston. And they made it as much of a race atmosphere as they could. They got local people to come caravan along the course and had a finish line. And it was, as far as virtual races go, we lucked out hard. It was awesome.
That is an amazing running community you live in. There's not a lot of places or people who would set something up like that, especially when you kind of weren't allowed to. You weren't supposed to have any crowds or
Right.
groups or social distancing, and
Yeah, but
they made
Keene
it
don't
happen
care.
for you.
Keene does what they want.
We figure you're outside and it's not, it wasn't like this massive community thing. We posted it and said, on any regular day, marathoners need support. A virtual marathon, we
Mhm.
really need your support. And people turned out, and it was really good. Every friend I ever had showed up, and it was honestly, I hate to say it, one of the best races I've ever had. Just wouldn't do it again.
So around here in Manchester, Nashua, Plymouth, where we live, she's in Nashua, I'm in Manchester. We have Londonderry. We have all these rail trails, and we have all these great, good places to run that are I would call safe.
Safe, yeah.
Not
Not on the road. Not,
yeah.
Fighting with traffic.
We have the
and-
one on Albuquerque and Litchfield near Katie's house.
bike paths and
Right.
stuff. Yeah.
What is it like out there in Keene for running? Is it just streets? Do you have trails? Do you have paved trails?
Yeah, we've actually got it all. Streets galore, and they get a little redundant, especially in the winter when some of the trails and stuff are impassable. So it can be a little bit tough to keep running the same streets over and over. But we have a really great rail trail system here. Goes in multiple directions, goes super far in either direction. They're actually, we have a third that's getting some work done. It's going to be amazing. So we're really spoiled with the rail trail and bike path situation in Keene. We also do have a lot of really great trails. We have got Drummer and Goose Pond and all these really beautiful places to run. So another plug for people to come in and run in Keene. It's a pretty awesome area.
We can do a OTR KJ group run.
Anytime. I do have a running group with my old coach Thomas. Him and I co-facilitate a running group to get ready and do a training group for DeMar. So we meet every Saturday morning starting soon.
Okay, so you said your old coach. So do you no longer have a coach?
I had Thomas and I stopped coaching or working together just shortly after that first Boston. We still run together, still obviously co-facilitate a group. And then I did some self-coaching for a long time. And that was great until it wasn't, until I started really letting myself off the hook. No, whatever workout I gave myself, I was like, I'll do something different. And, likely that was something easier. So I now have a friend of mine who lives in the Boston area, but he was a Keene State runner as well. And he's been helping me.
So when did you decide to start your own run coaching company?
Oh gosh. I think back in probably 2019. I've been really lucky. I have a couple really awesome girlfriends who have just allowed themselves to be my guinea pigs for quite a few years.
Okay.
Writing up their training plans.
That's me and my podcast host. She allowed me to.
It's so nice. Somebody's got to give you a chance, right? And I needed to know, am I good at this? Also, is this what I want to do? I was a group fitness instructor and a personal trainer for a long time. And I love it. I do miss it. I stopped doing it because of the pandemic and things got shut down, and I just didn't go back to it. And I used that time when I realized what I really wanted to do is work with that specific group of runners. Like, general fitness is awesome, but running is the passion, and I really like working with it. So it was, me sitting in my living room with nothing to do in 2020, and finally just put, the pen to paper and said, I want to make it a business. I want to help as many people. Well, I limit myself to how many people because I want quality over quantity.
Right.
But yeah, it's 2020 was just the birth of relentless running. So
here, from your Instagram account, that you even have a tattoo about your company.
I do. And you know how it is. You shouldn't ever be embarrassed to talk about your tattoos, but for some reason, it's like, oh God.
Hey, you're going to be proud of this.
We're going to talk about
little baby.
Every tattoo you have, but let's start with.
We're going to be here a while. I have a lot. Yeah. So the tattoo came first. I idolized Shalane Flanagan. She embodies everything about the sport that I think she's just amazing. So after she won New York, she put up a post, and it's still one of the best posts I've ever seen. And I do some digging on Instagram. I'm on it constantly. She, it's just a picture of her, and she's got the American flag draped over, and basically it was a lifetime of work for this. And it just said, be relentless. And it just opened my heart. So
resonated, right? Yeah.
So I got be relentless tattooed on my elbow, or right just above it. And then when it came time to kind of tossing around a few names of what I wanted the business to be, and I settled on Relentless Runner. So shout out to Shalane. She's amazing.
You mentioned Shalane, and you mentioned digging through Instagram, and I dig through yours quite a bit last night. This is not my Instagram picture, but I did take a screenshot of that one right there.
I can't see it.
It's the Women's Running Magazine, and it looks like Shalane.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Personalized a little note to you. Karen, be relentless as you help others.
You know what phrase I really hate? Fangirling. But do you know how much that applies?
She loves
I fangirl
fangirling
all the time.
Oh, we all do, but oh God. Yeah, that was a gift from Ted of Ted's Shoe and Sport.
Oh, no way. So he surprised you?
Yeah. It was amazing.
I love surprising people.
He lured me down to the store
surprised
under
people.
false pretenses of I was supposed to pick up a pair of shorts or something that I was going to order. It was a pretty great day.
He just surprised you with the magazine already autographed. Do you know how he did it? Did he
actually
call up a friend or something? Or
he's friendly with her dad. Yeah.
No way.
So he reached out to her dad and said, I've got, a friend, Karen, who co-facilitates this group in the summertime, and we base it out of Ted's. And he's like, I just want to do something to show her she's appreciated. And that's Ted.
That's so nice of Ted.
Oh my gosh, I know.
That's awesome.
It was.
Ted, if you're listening, all we got to do next is we got to set up a video chat for KJ and Shalane.
Oh my gosh.
Let's set that up one day.
I just started sweating.
We'll record it.
My hands are sweating.
On the pod.
I can't even handle
You're
it.
doing exactly what I'm going to do.
You look like a tomato right now.
know.
That's going to be me during our secret interview that's coming
My
up.
fingernails match my face. I don't think I can handle
Well, I
it.
love the colors, so it's good on you.
If it happens, you'll be so happy it does. If you ever had the chance, take it.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So back to your running company. It's Relentless Running. It's been going on since about 2019. How's it going today?
It's going really well. I have mostly local runners and a few women that I help that aren't in the area at all. This has been right now by far is the most runners that I've had at one point. I've got a couple of people that come and go when they pick up on a goal race and stuff, but it's going really, really well. It's super, super enjoyable. Everybody that I run, that I'm coaching, I every day, like I'm so impressed with the work ethic. Like I said, again, for the millionth time, I'm surrounded by amazing runners and really, really dedicated runners in this town, no matter what level they run at. And it's amazing. For me, like I have such an open schedule. I bartend, right? So for me, I don't have kids that I need to like get to school, and I don't have a 9 to 5 that I've got to go. So I understand that I can get up and do these things at my leisure. It impresses me to no end, the moms and the dads, everybody with their busy schedules. Like, how do you put your fitness as a priority? And they just do. They make it such a priority. It's like, I don't know. It's overwhelming sometimes. It's pretty cool.
I'll say as a dad with 3 kids and 2 of them very little and that need 110% of your attention, it is very hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like now that I'm going to the pool, I'm training for a triathlon again. I finally signed up. I'm going to the pool at 6 a.m. and then I go back and get the kids and bring them to school. Like it's a juggle. It really is. And I'm jealous of some people like the 2 of you who just do it whenever you want. And I'm like, man, I wish I
Stick to my
could.
cats.
Yes.
You need to
Alternative
become disciplined.
lifestyles.
Right, the cats. You need to become, as a parent, when you sign up for something like that, a parent with young kids, I'll say, discipline, and just the word I'm looking for is you got to get in a routine.
Mhm. It's a commitment. It's a real commitment.
If you can't
you gotta
find a
commit
routine,
to yourself.
but if you can't find the routine, you'll never get in a groove. And so that's where I am right now. I'm on week 2. I'm trying to keep my routine so I just get in a groove and go.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it 21 days to make something a habit? Is it something like that? I forget.
Something like
Somewhere in
that.
there.
Yeah.
It's 3 weeks, or I've even heard 90 days, or no, it's 90 days to break a habit. Like to really break it. Like say you're addicted to, say you're a chain smoker. It's like 90
that's a
days.
bad habit.
Yeah, to break a bad habit.
Change a habit. Maybe.
Like drinking soda. If you're like addicted to soda and you're trying to quit it, it really takes, what I hear is like 90 days.
Isn't that rude that it
Pretty
takes
much.
a lot longer to like quit something than it does to make it that's a little rude.
Am I right? You're looking it up.
I just looked it up. Habit formation can take an average of 59 to 70 days, according to a 2021 study.
Well, they're wrong because it's 90. Let me ask you, when you get a new client, or do you call them clients or athletes? We had another run coach who doesn't call them clients. She says they're my athletes.
I like athletes.
But when you
I've heard it say athletes.
when you get a new athlete, a new one, let's just say Erica's signing up. What is the first couple steps in the process with you as a run coach?
Yeah. I have a new runner form that I have them fill out, and that gives me like all the data that I need. Like what have your injuries been? What are your, current PRs? What are your, interests? What's your schedule like? All that good stuff. What are your goals? What kind of running do you enjoy the most? Which kind do you not like? Because, I can't promise you're not going to do hill repeats. I won't promise that you're not doing hill repeats, but I like to know where your weaknesses are with running too. That would be the first step. And then if it's, doable, I like to meet, one-on-one, talk that way. But really, if most part, it's give me that information. I'll mock up a plan. I want you to look it over first, and then we'll go from there. And then,
Do they usually have a goal race, or sometimes it's just like, I miss running, or I want to lose weight, or I want to just get in shape? Does it vary, or is it typically always, because I would imagine in most cases they have a race in mind?
For the most part, I think most everybody that has started with me is because they have a goal race, maybe not a specific race they've picked yet, but the idea of what they want to do. And then that race will come and go, and maybe they've caught the bug. So there's another race, or it's just that, like, let me stay on and maintain the fitness, because starting over from scratch, it can be dreadful. It can be awful.
It's never easy to start
It's
over. That's always
never
like
easy to start over.
a little soul crushing. Like it's a mental game too. Like you have to be like, I'm doing this. Like this is good for me. Like it sucks right now, but you just have to like talk yourself back into things.
And I can tell you, I'm
no,
42 years
tough.
old. It does not get easier. It is only getting harder.
Man, why do we have to age?
Trust
I'll be
me.
38 soon. Well, you're doing great at 42, let me tell
I
you
appreciate
that.
it. Thanks. I feel great at 42.
So you're 42. You said it. I didn't have to investigate to
I have
find
nothing
out.
to hide. I'm 42. I can't change it. I'm not trying.
Good.
And recently, you had a pretty major life event
I
happen to you.
did.
Tell us what happened.
So back in December, pretty, from start to finish, this all happened very quickly. It wasn't something that has been, I didn't lead up to this in any way. I just had a week where I was really, really not feeling good to the point where I, finally went in to get looked at. And we just discovered I had a really, really large, benign, thank God, cyst on my uterus. So what I had was a total abdominal hysterectomy in December, which just means they went in through my stomach like a C-section style to remove so many organs and the cyst itself. So it kind of, I think the starting of it was like maybe the end of September, or early October. And thank God they were able to get me in as quickly as they were. But I didn't really have a whole lot of time to process it before. It was just here and happening.
Isn't it wild how sometimes you need something major and it's like, well, let's see when we can fit you in.
Yeah. Like,
Right?
you might get sick again, but you might not. And I'm like, I'm not really into that answer.
It's like you need this major, possibly life-saving surgery. We'll try to fit you in the next few months. It's like, what?
I mean, I've never really had anything major like that before, so I didn't really know what to expect. But huge shout out to the Cheshire Hospital in Keene, because I mean, they got me in as soon as they could, and it was, they're busy. They're still backed up. They're busy.
Oh man.
So where were you at this point in your life? Because this just all of a sudden kind of happened. You weren't feeling that well in the fall, but sometimes these things happen and they just get in the way of what you were going for.
I'm not gonna lie. So almost all of 2022 running wise was just not to sound like super negative, it was such a garbage year for me. I started the year training for the Cheap Marathon in April, and I had to pull out, I think, a week or two before. I have a lot going on in the hamstring, my hip. I just was like, it was a miserable winter of running. So I took some time off and then started to rebuild shape from that, and, was starting to kind of feel like my old self. And I had signed up for a fall half, the Loco half, as sort of a goal. And it just curveball. Life threw its wrench. So I did the Loco as a fun run, and that was a send off for the year.
So you've been spending all this time recently, like trying to get yourself back. How long did it take? Like, how long were you out for?
In total, I was out for out of work, out of running, and out of pretty much all exercise except for gentle walking. 6 weeks. I got the green light at my 6-week checkup to take it back, come back a little bit slowly, and I tried. I tried to take it slow.
You're a bartender, so it's not like you have sick days or a 401k or you need to work. When you don't work, you're not making money. How is that for 6 weeks of not really being able to move?
Stressful. I mean, that's like a no-brainer to say that, but it was stressful. I try really hard. In a different life, I was a really pessimistic person, so I have worked really hard to turn that around. So the things that I can't change, I can't sweat it, right? I couldn't take and put myself into work. I've chose this line of work. These are the repercussions. This is what happens, right? My bosses took care of me in certain ways to help me out for a little bit, because they're amazing. and, insurance did what insurance does. And I was really, really fortunate to have that. It wasn't ideal by any means, but at the same time, like I tried to go back to work early and it was an epic fail. So, I wasn't missing it. Let's put it that way. I needed all the rest that I took.
How about your support system? Because the best nurse ever, I think it's your sister, and you mentioned your boss and probably some friends. How was your support system?
It's fair to say I am the most spoiled person you have ever met. My sister is godsend. Like, she is the most selfless person. She lives out in Oklahoma. I called her, crying. I have to have a hysterectomy. What am I supposed to do? I live by myself. Poor me. Blah, 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 blah. Cat can't take care of himself. She called me like an hour later and said, I've booked flights and I'm coming for a month. And I was like, my first thought was, oh, hell no, we're not living together for a month. And every day since she's left, I miss it. Like, she could not have taken better care of me. And then on top of that, like, my friends rallied. There was a food train. There was visits. There was everybody would come in to take me for my walks. I was really, really spoiled. So it's a little overwhelming to think about and talk about a little sometimes. That aspect of it was really, not say eye-opening. I've always known I have an amazing support system, but it's just times like that, you really don't know how good you've got it.
So as you've been getting back into things, I just saw that you did the cheap half this year. How did that go for you?
It went well.
Was that your first race? Was that your first race back since you had the surgery?
Sort of. I jumped into Millennium's, the Super Sunday 4-miler.
Oh, yeah.
That was right after I got back. And it actually went really well.
So not taking it easy.
And then none of these have had any, there's been no big goals for it, right? I'm just going out to see how I feel. And that was really fun. The half ended up being one of the best runs I've had in a long time. And not just like the number of it. I ran with one of my best friends, Jess, who I also coach. She had a big goal for it. She wanted to PR, and I was able to stay with her for about 9 miles until I just said, bye, Jess, have a great run, and just watched her go. But it was just like, it was a happy run. It kind of like, I didn't stop. I didn't have to walk. Those are the kind of things I was thinking for, a faster paced 13-mile run right now seemed like a little bit of a stretch, but it was just really, really good. It was a great day.
I wish I would have known you were there at the time, because I was running the full, so I had a few laps in there. Oof. And then I would have totally given you some high fives and cheers.
Oh, honestly, I'm not thinking that I would love to do the full for that. That out and back twice sounds dreadful, but boy, I love being able to see so many people. It's so nice to have that support all the time. You're never alone out there.
But you got to go right by the finish.
It is so rude.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's rude.
How dare you? Plus, that's
wait, how dare you? But I signed up for it.
I know. I'm totally guilty of all that. I knew what I was in for, and I was.
It's a good race, though. It's a good course. It's a fast course.
I agree.
Flat and fast.
Except for that damn hill at the end.
Right, right. That one hill.
So rude.
Well, speaking about signing up for a race, you do have a big race coming up in your near future.
I do. I get to do Chicago in the fall. I'm so excited.
I'm so jealous. Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I got in with the lottery. I didn't last year. I felt like I was the only person, at least what I saw on social media. I think I was the only person that didn't get in.
Oh, but it's coming. Oh, that's going to be so excellent for you. It's your first time going?
Yeah. I've only flown in and out of Chicago. I've never even visited, so I'm pretty excited. Mm-hmm. Can't wait for the duck tours.
Well, let me know if you need some tips of places to go.
I will happily take anything you've got, for sure.
That sounds so fun.
She's your girl for Chicago. She'll even sometimes say that it's better than Boston. So I'm just going to say, chin up the whole time and look around.
Soak it in.
That is the plan. I have learned.
That's awesome.
I've grown as a runner. I have a different appreciation for things.
Have you already started training for that? Or, I mean, if you were already doing halves, I mean, you must be still getting your base back.
Yeah. I don't really know what my coach is cooking up. He sends me threatening texts every now and then about some workouts that I can look forward to. We're still really taking things not slowly, but cautiously at times. And, And not just because I'm coming back from the surgery, but, and I'm not playing the age card, but, I don't recover like I did before. So, where I used to take 1 day a week off, now it's 2. I try to separate those long, hard runs, like pretty space them out when I can, because man, it's hard.
Are you like us who want to strength train but don't do it enough, or are you like, do you cross train really well?
I'll be honest. I am very, very consistent with my strength training. We have an amazing gym in town that I think it was about a month before I left for my surgery. I signed up. So I got my feet wet taking the classes that it's like personal training. There's like small group classes, and they're tough. They're really tough. The instructors are amazing. So they kind of all know what I don't know, like every runner, but I am just full of imbalances and like weaknesses. And they all know them, and they all work around those or work with them. So when I came back, since I've been back, I have to say, like, I've been very, very consistent with the strength training for sure. Like, I grumble and gripe every morning when I have to go to class, but again, I do it to myself. I signed up for this.
So, speaking of the recovery thing, this ties into Eric's question, his big Instagram question.
All right, so I'm sure you know, but we do. So you talked about you're on Instagram all the time, and you're creeping, and you're digging in there.
Posting away.
I dig. Right, I always dig through Instagrams, and I like to do a question where I find an Instagram photo,
Oh, no.
usually old, right? So I found this Instagram photo of you from Keen Massage Therapy.
Oh, no.
And you have at least a dozen, if not more, suction cups on your leg.
I know exactly what this is. Oh, man, you went digging.
You showed me this, and I go, I have no idea what body part I'm looking at. Like, I could not even tell. It looked like a vast majority of your body was covered in those.
I try to keep things real and post the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that is the ugly.
Well, we appreciate that, because I mean, that shows the true sides of running. Like, there is
100%.
good and bad and ugly.
Too many people just post the good days, and it's not,
Did you enjoy the suction cups?
No, I did not. No, I did not. I had a couple of sessions with her, and for the life of me, I can't remember it helping, but it's not comfortable.
No. And so is that a one and only?
I had a couple sessions with her. There's actually, for your entertainment purposes, there's a video on there somewhere too of her having me do squats with them. It's gross.
Oh my God. He's gonna find it.
I'm going to find it for the pod. I'm going to find it when this comes
It's
out.
gnarly.
When I'm editing, I'll be like, oh, that's right. And I'll pause my editing and I'll go and find the video. That's my reminder.
It's a lot.
You know what everyone's into these days? So I want to try a suction cup.
A cupping.
That you had there. I want to try it. I see it and I'm thinking like, oh, that's going to feel great and be great. What everyone is into now that I'm really scared of is the ice bath.
Oh, so we use the ice bath a lot in college. We'd finish a run and go down to the trainers, and we'd all either sit and just angle, or like, shins down or hips down. And sometimes you get in there to the shoulders. It made me sob. I would be in there with like 5 or 6 other girls just pouring tears because it hurts so bad, but it really is so good for you. You just really have to build up to it. You should start with really, really cold shower in the morning, like the last 2 minutes of your shower. It's terrible. It's so bad. And I'm being such a hypocrite because no, I don't do that. But it is really, really good for you. It was really gross. Luckily, when I did the cupping therapy with her, it was winter. So those were covered. But you see it when you see like Olympic swimmers and stuff, they'll have it all over their backs and stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, good. So it's covered up. You're like, all right.
It's not cute.
Yeah, Michael Phelps. Like, I can just picture him with it. Yeah. Damn.
What is it actually? What's its purpose? What does it serve? Educate me if one of you know.
If I remember correctly, it pulls a lot of toxins through. So whatever it is that it's pulling it up to the skin surface. And it's creating that blood flow. So a lot like recovery legs or like the recovery boots and stuff like that, compressions.
The 3 of us have those.
I love those.
We started to. I love mine.
Acid, get whatever out.
I just sit there with a cup of coffee and my cat and just zone out on those things.
Just like the dream. That's
little
the
hugs.
life. Like I'm in the boots. I fell asleep in them once. It was like I think post ultra, I was
I
like,
have fallen asleep in them
ugh.
too. I will edit the podcast.
They need to make like a sleeping
Oh,
bag
yeah.
version. Have it come up to here and just be like an absolute hug.
I
Like
would love that.
I don't know if I would ever stop using
You
it.
you can
Patent that.
almost buy enough. You can get the arm attachments and the hip one, and it just basically leaves your chest and your back. But
Can't you just see it though? You have all of it on, and then there's like a fire, and you've got to get out of your house. You're screwed.
So on occasion, I've edited the podcast with the Normatec boots on, and then I'm like, oh, I need that. I forgot a cable. It's right there.
You're
It's
like, well, I guess
right
that
over
way.
there.
See,
But
that's when you wish you had like the what do you call it, telekinesis or something.
I wish I had. I wish I
Right?
had the force.
Or like get a fishing pole.
That too.
I wish I had the force and could just.
Or you got to just teach your kids to be like, hey, go get this.
Oh, they're good at that now. They're
They're good
actually
at that?
really
Okay,
good
good.
at that now. But usually, I'm
Perfect.
editing. They're in bed,
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
and my cat won't
Fair.
do that. My dog couldn't do it. No, none of them could have done it. But
All right, KJ, we have one last question since Eric hit you with the hard hitting pictures, I guess. So we have.
oh, there were some other pictures
Well, this
that were
one's not
close
bad.
seconds and
Really?
thirds. Oh yeah.
Save them for next time because we're gonna have
Wow.
to talk to her again once she gets through Chicago, and we want to hear about her experience. But so we have a Spotify playlist, and we like to invite our guests to add a song. So whether you listen to music while you work out or run or whatever, cool. But like anything inspirational or just something you like to listen to on your own, just whatever you want, you can throw on there. So let us know what you pick.
All right. It's not for everyone, but if I had picked it, anything Lil
Oh,
Wayne.
nice.
Big Lil Wayne fan. But since that's not always what everybody's cup
Oh,
of
it doesn't
tea,
have to be anybody's cup
um,
of tea but your own. You can pick whatever you like.
let's say Dreams by Fleetwood Mac.
Oh,
That song is just
love it.
what a mood changer.
I need to bring up Addie
I love
Zarenner.
that song.
I have to bring up Addie Zarenner. So you mentioned Little Wayne or Little John isn't
Lil
everyone's
Wayne,
cup of
yeah.
tea. Addie Zarenner, who was it?
Out of Your Mind by I think it is Little John.
Yeah. So our first like big interview, and by the way, her idol is also Solane Flanagan. Addie Zarenner
No surprise.
hits us with Out of Your Mind by Little John. And we played that song. We said, Alexa, play this song. And we were just
It is
like,
not suitable for work.
we were blown out of the water with that choice.
You're like, we have a little bit of editing to do.
We
Yeah.
just couldn't. We were
Luckily,
like, wow.
we didn't actually play that. Did we play it on the podcast?
No.
don't
We
remember.
copyrights and all that.
Oh
so.
yeah, but we were listening. We're like, whoa.
I was gonna say, then if that's the case, do not play any Lil Wayne.
That's totally
It's not
Well,
good.
Tara the other day had Juvenile
back that ass
back
up.
that ass up.
That's a classic.
Yes, it's a classic. But Dreams by Fleetwood Mac is
Such a good
also
one.
a great song. It's
Love
a good
it.
classic.
Definitely a mood changer.
Is that the one that went viral on TikTok with the guy skateboarding and drinking like apple juice?
I know exactly.
I just know it's all over TikTok. I don't know about that, but I know that it's like super
I
used
know
on TikTok for
exactly
sure.
the video you're talking about, but I cannot think of the song that's in the background.
It also wasn't apple juice, but it was a Fleetwood Mac song.
It was like, wasn't it like Ocean Spray Cranberry Juice?
Yes,
or
yes, it
something?
was Ocean Spray. You're right.
I don't know.
You're right. And he
Never heard it.
How good does that
Ocean
sound right now?
Spray
that, yeah.
Juice Company actually bought him a truck
What?
because he
Oh, that's awesome.
commuted on a skateboard or whatever because he didn't have a car, and that
I'm
got
impressed.
them that made them
That's
so
awesome.
much money they got him a truck.
Look what the internet does now.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
You're amazing. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. This has been a lot of fun.
Oh, you guys, thank you so much. I've been looking forward to this.
We had a
was really
blast,
awesome.
and I can't wait to like see you locally like soon. Either I'll have to meet up with you when I'm on my way to Clarence DeMar, or we should do
Yeah,
we should do, like,
anytime.
group run.
And Erica, if you want to, are you running, Clarence?
I am.
Yes. If you want to come and do any training runs,
I could
Ooh,
I could free
yeah.
up a Saturday for you guys. I think that would be
Yeah.
a blast.
absolutely. We have a great group. It's awesome.
Excellent.
So
Well, awesome. Yeah, this was so much fun. Thanks again for coming on. You're really awesome, KJ. I can't wait to hear how Chicago goes, and I'm super pumped about your recovery and your comeback right now.
thank you. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for letting me come on.
Oh, before we let you go, do you want to tell people how to find you on Instagram and with your company?
Sure. My at is KJ Runs 21. And I do have a page for Relentless Running, but I've stopped using it. I like to just post all my all my awesome athletes on my own page. So yeah, KJ Runs 21.
And if they want coaching advice or if they want to get anything about, they just slide into your DMs there.
Absolutely. Yep. Just message me. Anything I can do to help, whether you want coaching or you just want to chat running.
Awesome. You know us runners, we love to chat running. So hopefully people.
Yeah. And if there's any, gotta say it. One of the things I'm happy you guys reached out because going through the hysterectomy, I had no resources for being a runner trying to come back. There's nothing out there that I could find. So if there's any women that are going through that, feel free to send me any and all questions. Like, so people need the help coming back from this. So
That's
Thank
awesome.
you for that.
Yeah.
That's an awesome, awesome thing.
That's great that you're reaching out and
Mhm.
saying, reach out to you. So thank you so much. It was a blast. Everybody, KJ on the On the Runs podcast.
Three, two, one.
Karen, be relentless as you help others. Shalane Fair, Shalane, bleh. Shalane,